Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you as always for your tweets.
Well, we've been waiting. Those pair have been out doing 42 lengths of the
Yeah, 42 lanes to the football pitch, as Antonio Conte had the Spurs players doing. How many could you do nowadays, Nathan?
Stevie was running up and down going, oh, we didn't do this in the day.
We won Champions Leagues and we never ran.
No, with that, I get what Stevie's saying, because at the end of the day, like, it's more than fitness, because if they did 40, does that mean they're not going to finish in the top 4? Like, why is 42 the number? You know,
42.
It's a mental thing. Yeah, it has to be 42. That's what you need to win a league, apparently.
Stevie, what do you think, when we get to the question, what do you think about Rooney going to DC United?
Dan, I said the other day on the show that unless he's given a barrel load of money, he's off his rocker.
Oh.
Because he's got players that he's going to have players in his squad that shouldn't be professionals, shouldn't be being paid to be called professionals. And if he's going to have to use them, he's going to figure out really quickly that no matter how many times he tells them something, no matter how many times he shows them how to do it, when the game starts, it goes straight through there and flies all the way out of there. And there's nothing you can do about it. Unless they spend money and get him some proper players to coach, then he's going to be fed up. He'll end up chucking it.
What are you doing?
Doing my 42. I'm doing my 42, boys. Keep going.
Nah, he's not right today.
I'm doing my 42, 41, 39, 40.
Nedum, is there any good way of a manager? Is there any good way of a manager telling you that you're not part of his plans next season? What are some of the most bizarre ways that some players found out they were on the way out?
That is a very, very good question, and I think there are good ways. And this story, so I played with Patrick Vieira for 1 year, and he mentioned with Mourinho when he was, I think, Inter Milan with him. Mourinho told him at the start of the season that he wasn't going to be part of his plans going forward, but he wants him to hang around in pre-season, work hard, and who knows, maybe things could change. Come the start of that season, somebody got injured and Patrick Vieira was playing week in, week out. But then the other side of that coin is something which happened to me. So it was the Saturday before pre-season started on the Monday, and I got a text to say, you know, don't come in on the Monday, come in on the following Saturday. So initially I thought, oh, we've extended the off-season, everything's great. So then text my teammates, and then it said, yeah, we're training Monday, and then we're flying away to America on Friday, and then that's when I'm coming in, and I'm training with the academy. So yeah, there are two different ways to do it, and for me, the best way is to just appreciate, like, even if you don't want to play somebody, they're still probably better than the under-18 who you're going to promote to be basically filling a spot within a squad. So I think for me, the best way is just to say to them, you know, maybe the future isn't right for you, but stay here, work hard, and who knows what could happen.
How did you deal with it, Stevie?
I actually dealt with it because players who I figured weren't going to be good enough, I always set them a task. You know, if you think you're going to get in this team, this is what you need to do. And I didn't set them a task knowing that 1,000%. I didn't set them a task that I knew they would never do. I was realistic, and I was trying to be nice about it. And I said, right, if you can do this and this and this, then you know what? I'll consider you for the first team.
What sort of task, Stevie?
When it comes to the end of the season,
what was it?
Clean his car, get his beers.
No, it's just simple things. First touch, position, and you can pull up anything you want. When you're dealing with a guy who's not very good, there's 1,000 things you can pick on. But so what? The outshot of that is, come the end of the season, when they're coming in and asking you about whether they're coming back or not, you go, oh, listen, do you remember at the start of the year I asked you to do this, this, and this? Did you do? Can you do it? And they say no, and you go, well, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to have to move on. And so you do it in a nice way. You set them a task, and if they don't do it, they can't argue with you when they haven't done it. Simple.
Craig, how do you rate Notts Forest transfer window so far?
Nottingham Forest.
With more to come, apparently. Are they staying up this season?
Unlikely. I don't know who they signed. They lost a goalkeeper. They signed Dean Henderson from United. I think that might be a loan, but I might be
right.
I don't know. They've signed the young boy Nicol Williams from Liverpool.
Okay.
I haven't really.
Oh.
My grandson.
I thought you were a big Notts Forest fan.
Well, I am, but the season hasn't started yet.
Right.
I just wait the day before, have a look.
Have a look.
Splash, bosh.
Ready to go.
So I don't know exactly who they've signed, but it's going to be very difficult for all the teams.
A lot of German defenders, a lot of defenders from the Bundesliga, apparently.
Who's their agent, Derek? Derek Ray. Sort this out.
To all, including Captain Smarty Pants, start, sell, bench. Stevie against Craig in a heated argument in Scottish. Stevie at it with Dan, or a mad and rude Gab Marcotti. I like it when Gab interrupts quite a lot, as if he's going to say something interesting, and it doesn't always materialise that way. How do you find doing the...
It's Gab's face, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's Gab's face. Gab makes faces and looks away.
It must be easy, though, to do the Gab and Jules podcast when you kind of step in to replace Jules sometimes, Nedum, because you just sit there, don't really have to do anything and take the money.
Not necessarily true. Not necessarily true, but in fairness to Gab, you know, he watches a lot of football, like an extreme amount of football, so he does have that knowledge base. But I always find on this show, the biggest weakness he has, and I don't know if it's changed recently, it's just the massive delay from his feed to like when the show's actually going on. So sometimes you can see he wants to make like a really big point, but it was valid 5 seconds ago, but he's still trying to drive it home. So for me, like, you know, I love seeing a frustrated Gab try and make a point that everyone else has moved on from. So I'm definitely buying that. And I do quite enjoy Stevie and Craig, so I think I'm gonna have that in second.
Yeah, I like it when you two shout at each other.
There's a couple of ones that have done the rounds.
That's good. That's quite enjoyable.
Stayed the,
yes, indeed, the test of time.
Stayed the test of time. I might have been.
When you went to Stevie, I think that one certainly stands out.
I may have called him stupid one day on air when he was shouting at me. It was Liverpool when he was talking about what team they were going to play. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
And we had a bit of a. We had a bit of a discussion.
I remember it well.
We had a bit of a discussion.
It wasn't a discussion. You were talking nonsense. You were trying.
Well, you've done enough of that today. I tell you what, you've won the gold medal and talking absolute dribble today.
You were trying to convince me that Jurgen Klopp, who had gone on vacation on the third round of the FA Cup, was all of a sudden going to play the first team in the fourth round.
Goodness me, this is going back.
That was exactly it.
No. I never said first team. I said a hybrid. So memory goes when you get a bit older.
Nedum, you've played with both Taarabt and Balotelli. What were they lacking to make full use of their potential?
I think with Adel Taarabt, like you see him today, and he's a defensive midfielder for Benfica. Like, how did that ever happen? I think Adel had incredible talent, but he didn't have the desire, and he was very much just like a massive fish in a small pond. And I think he ultimately acted like that at the time. So I think he needed to be in the sort of environment that he's in now in Portugal, where everybody works hard. The standard is the standard. You get in early, you work hard, you do extra. So I think he was lacking that in that moment. And for Mario, you know, again, his talent was supreme. But interestingly, he's coming from Italian culture where, you know, you have to run 42 lengths to win a title. So you would think he'd be more disciplined, but ultimately he really wasn't in that time. And I think in some ways, he was just mentally a lot younger than, say, a lot of the people who were around him. So he stuck out like a sore thumb. I think at times he was away from home and needed help, and he didn't quite have that. But I suppose the positive in this story is, again, he's in a better place now mentally, and he's playing some really good football. So I think in that time, you just probably needed to really take a look at the people around him and try and be more like they were, because there were some exceptional professionals there at the time. And if he would have been anywhere near that, I think he would have stayed for longer and had a greater legacy in the Premier League.
Final question, Stevie. Who's the best fullback in the Premier League? Cancelo, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson or James?
Ooh, dear. That's a tough one. Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, James and Cancelo. Well, you got Cancelo and Alexander-Arnold that can't defend properly. James has gotten better defensively. And you got Robbo, who's a way better defender than the others, but he's
where's he looking?
His delivery isn't quite as good as the others. That's a tough one, because that's a tough one.
I'll answer.
I don't actually think you can turn around and say. I think it would depend. It would have to depend on how the team was set up. If you were to set up a team of all stars, let's say, and say, right, we're playing the way Liverpool do, then you'd have to play Trent at right back. If you're saying we're going to play 3-5-2, you probably play James. If you're going to play the way City play, then you would play Cancelo, because you wouldn't. I would think Cancelo would be better in City's team than any of the other ones. Ooh, I'm sorry, I can't come up with a real answer.
I would say, to me, these are all great players. The best fullback in the Premier League, with a bit of everything, when fully fit, is not on that list.
Who would you go for?
Kyle Walker.
Really?
Who's that?
When fully fit.
Right.
When fully fit. He hasn't got the...
No.
Well, he's been good enough for Man City for quite a few years. I mean, he's not the most...
He hasn't got... Craig, his delivery... His final delivery is not as good as any of the others.
He hasn't got the delivery of Alexander-Arnold and the others, but then he's stronger defensively and quicker. That's just who I'd go for. If you asked me to pick a full-back today, I'd go for Walker.
You go Walker over...
Just with his experience and his pace and how his game... And again, he's a much better player when fully fit today, even though he's getting a bit older, than he was when he left Tottenham.
Okay.
Much better. I mean, he's not... Yes, his pace gets him out of some bad starting positions, but hey, it gets him out of some bad starting positions. I just think he's a really, really good fullback.
Who's your vote for, Nedum?
So I'll go with Reece James, and I think it's because he's got a little bit of all those guys who we've named so far. I think he's got that sort of engine like Robertson. He's got a little bit of the Cancelo type quality, and for Trent as well, his delivery can be very, very good. And I've seen him play in some big games and go 1v1 with people and really, really stop them. So I think there's a reason why you're hearing maybe he's been linked to City and this type of stuff. But I think I really like him. I think he's probably the best, although the other ones are pretty spectacular to say the least as well.
Good stuff, guys. As always, thank you very much. ESPN FC will be back on your screens tomorrow. Be sure to join us. You've got to do more. You only did.
No, I did. I finished on 39. Stevie said I was running my guts out.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.